All right. So how do you feel being a Native American in the United States?
You know, I really don't feel any different. Especially coming to Arizona State, I just feel like the common student populace. I really don't feel any different than anybody else. I'm sure, it's just, I guess it might be my culture or whatever, but I really don't feel any different. I don't feel superior or subordinate to anybody out there.
All right. Do you feel that Native Americans hold an important role in the United States government?
That kind of, it's something that I've never really noticed. I've never noticed groundbreaking or breaking news on what the Native Americans are doing in the world on a mass scale, all the way up through like Congress and stuff like that. I'm sure the Native American problems or subject has like a really small thing, like a small percentage of what they focus their attention to. So I guess, if kind of getting back to your question, I really don't think we do have, Native Americans have a large, much attention in the United States government. I'm sure, but on a local, state-based government, my tribe probably has a little bit more influence than most, because we're the largest tribe in America, and the Navajo Nation, for reference, has is the largest Native American tribe in the United States, and we take up probably a little under a third of the state, land-wise, but I'm not sure what that is in population, like a population aspect. So I'm sure it's a little bit larger than like what the overall is. But I'm sure, getting back to the local government, I'm sure we have a little bit more influence or attention in the local government. But when it comes to national government, no, I don't think we have so much influence or attention.
Okay. How do you feel Native Americans are treated in the United States? What makes you think this?
In the United States, on a mass scale, the kind of by and large, I really don't think there's much of an influence or kind of a base as to how we're treated, because we're Native Americans as a whole make up such a small percentage of the population of the United States that I couldn't form an opinion on how people are treated massively, except for maybe when people are visiting Arizona, or when they come to Arizona, or they encounter a Native American, they almost treat them like a unicorn, because as I said, the population is just so small that they're not used to seeing the culture or the just how Native Americans are on a daily basis. But I come from I come from Flagstaff, Arizona, so that Flagstaff is considered a border town in between Arizona, like the kind of normal Arizona, it's a border town between that and the Navajo reservation. So I'm around people that know who and what the Native Americans are, and I've seen all sorts of a spectrum. Excuse me. I see a large part of the spectrum, because you get the people that are, I guess the word would be xenophobic. They're set in their ways, and they feel that Native Americans need to go back to their land, and they treat them poorly. They say derogatory remarks towards Native Americans. And then on the flip side of the coin, you get the people that just absolutely love Native Americans. In my opinion, go overboard with Native American things. They just are fascinated, which I guess is cool, but sometimes it goes a little bit overboard. And then you get into the middle, kind of like in the middle of the road, where people, they really don't care. Maybe not necessarily don't care, but they're have a mutual, there's a mutual respect there between Native Americans and them, that they just really don't care, or they don't make rude remarks, or they just are there because they're just another person. So I see all sorts of all sides of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. All right. How do you feel towards the U.S. government taking land from the San Francisco Peaks?
On that topic, I'm not too knowledgeable. I haven't researched it as much as other people have, so I can't really form a detailed opinion on what has happened. I don't know all sides of the story. I'd prefer to see all sides of the story before I make remarks. But I know you're looking for a personal opinion, and I kind of want to give some background onto this. I want to see the Native American population be progressive and do more things and be more successful in their ways. So with that, I guess what I wanted to say on the topic of the San Francisco Peaks is that I want there to be a mutual respect for the Peaks and Native Americans, specifically the Navajos, and the Hopi tribe, which are a smaller tribe local to the area. And what I mean by that is that I understand that there's a economic aspect to building that ski resort, but one thing to consider is that the ski resort is on one of the Navajo four sacred mountains, which is taught down through the generations of Navajos. Is that they're the sacred mountains. They're what the base of our culture is. So I want there to be mutual respect between Navajos. That I want them to understand that for the overall betterment or the overall improvement of our local area, is we gotta support that to a little bit of an effect. And on the other side, I wish the other populace would respect the mountain for what it is. So I believe that they are going a little bit overboard with the artificial snow manufacturing. And I wish, also, it wouldn't hurt to see a little bit of money compensation for it, because it's through certain. Again, what I've seen is that not a lot of money from the ski resort has been given to the Navajos. I guess it's just like something. Maybe not necessarily like a property tax, but just kind of something to say, something for the owners of the ski resort and the legislators of the ski resort who got the land, to say, thank you for letting us use this land. This is how we can repay you, and give them a little money compensation. And on the other side, I want the Navajos to say, thank you for this. You can keep on using this. But just realize that it's one of our sacred mountains. Don't deface it, or don't do anything exuberant that would disgrace it.
So then, would you say that it was fair for the U.S. government to use recycled water, if you will? For the snow, you know?
Yeah, for the artificial snow manufacturing. Through all the back in their Flagstaff, there was a lot of town meetings, a lot of community meetings that were held and took place, and all, which also led a large amount of protests and actions, peaceful actions, were taken to stop that. And I don't think we, the Navajos, got the representation, or pretty much just the representation that we should have. I think we just kind of fell by the wayside. So in answer to your question, no. I just feel that as much as we demonstrated and kind of peacefully assembled and had town meetings, I don't think our voice was heard quite loudly enough as it should have been. So yeah, there you go.
Okay. Have you seen the documentary film The Snowball Effect?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No, I have not.
I recommend it.
Okay.
Highly.
Okay.
Have you as a person experienced any backlash from the U.S. government? I mean, any kind of backlash?
Any kind of backlash. Maybe it won't be through like the official United States government, but just certain things with the Navajo tribe that weren't the best of situations. I felt that could have been taken care of if there was a better system to take place. Mainly, I guess healthcare would be one of those. Well, maybe not healthcare, but like the Navajo Nation supports healthcare on the Navajo reservation, and I just think that there should have been, there could be potentially a better system if the United States government were to step in, or maybe not step in, but kind of give some guidance and some financial help. But then again, that also falls on part of the Navajo people, because a lot of the Navajo legislators or people are, I guess the right word would be resentful towards the United States government, because they've had so much mistrust with them, and that's their own personal opinion, and which they've formed on their own. I'm not saying any of my opinions on that. So that's where some of that falls. But also personally, who doesn't come in contact with the government? I mean, it's government's just it's always there, but sometimes everybody doesn't get represented as much as they should be. They say that the government's for the people, by the people, for the people, by the people, of the people, but sometimes it just, I guess, their own agendas get caught up in the mix, and they do their own thing, and that kind of leaves everybody in a bad spot, which I don't think is right. I think there should have a little bit more. We the people collectively, as the United States populace, should have our own opinion, or have our own voices heard on the matters. So.
All right. In your opinion, are Native Americans pushovers to the U.S. government in any kind of way? You just feel like
what do you
Native
mean
Americans are like pushed aside and.
Oh, okay. That one, it's kind of how it's not. That one's kind of its own thing, because it's kind of a fault on both sides, because the Native American people, from what I've seen, are, I'm just going to say it, they're very stubborn. they are set about their ways, and there's no change for there's very minimal change as to what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. And then on the other side, with the U.S. government, they I guess they really don't try as hard as I think they should. They kind of give it like, oh, do you want this? No, okay, not that. It's not the whole going once, going twice, sold. It's just kind of going once, no, sold. It's kind of thrown out there. Then Native Americans say, no, we are having none of this. They're like, okay, we're taking it back. So it's kind of a fault on both sides, I would say.
So would you say you personally would feel as less of a person, or would you say you're kind of in the middle?
I'm kind of in the middle. To be honest, I'm not full Native American, but I still, I'm half white, so I'm not sure if that spins my judgment out at all, but I don't feel that it does. I just feel that the way I am mostly through my my upbringing or how I was raised. It just says that I believe that we're all equal, and I feel that we should all be treated equal. And from what I've seen, we have been treated equal. It's just that the larger, the people that have more influence, or have a higher standard or higher position, or people that can be heard a lot louder than me. I feel that they kind of get heard a little bit more, and I don't necessarily think that's right. I think they should, if they are in a place of higher importance or whatever, they should be there for the people. Because if they're a leader, if they're an elected leader, I feel that they should talk to their subordinates or whoever elected them to represent them in a proper manner. Now, I think that if someone were to do this, people would be quite scared, because they're probably thinking, what are you doing? This has never been done before. What, are you sure you know what you're doing? Just kind of doing the whole dumbfounded, what is going on aspect. So that's kind of how I feel about it. So in short, I don't think that I am less of a person, or I think I am more of a person. I just feel that I'm a person.
All right, I'm gonna take a drink of water. I'll cut in between each question. Get some kind of voice back.
Can I make noise now?
Make it quick. I got 2 more questions to ask.
Go for it. I just wanted to. Vaseline.
Fuck. Dude, my fucking allergies are bothering me like hell. I swear to God, if I can't hear your voice on this damn thing. Because I put it over there.
Okay,
that's right there.
I'll say you definitely want to put the mic close.
Alright.
You'd rather have too much.
I freaking put it over there, and you could hear every step I was taking over to here. So I swear to God, if it's like now, I'm not gonna hear you.
Probably heard the door open too.
Oh yeah, it heard it, but that'll be alright.
You should get like an editing software, So
But you can't edit that out. You have to make him quiet too, and you know that it was something.
There's a way to do it, or if you have the right program. But
It'll be alright.
I don't think you want to throw that kind of money down.
$500 for Sony Vegas? Yeah, right.
For this project.
That'd be some bullshit. Alright, so you ready to finish on the last 2?
Yeah, hammer
Questions
out.
aren't too bad. Alright. Would you fight for every right you deserve as a person?
Oh, absolutely. I am looking to go into the military, and with that, I'm going to say that my own opinions are non-reflective of the United States or the government or the military. But yes, I would fight for my rights, because that's just how I was growing up. My father was in the military, my grandfather was in the military, and my great grandfather and his uncles and his brothers were in the military. So I have always grown up to look upon seeing serving my country. That's mostly through on a large scale of things. But when it comes to on a small scale of things, me personally, yes, I would. If my rights are violated in one way or another, they are definitely going to be met with a thunderous roar, per se. But mostly it comes down to when it comes down to what is your rights. I feel that at the least my constitutional rights should be withheld, because that's how they were intended to be.
And would you do that at a local standard too?
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, if my rights are not heard upon, or neglected, or infringed upon, they will be heard with responded with a thunderous roar. So, I mean, and I'd take whatever actions need to be within reason. I'm not gonna start a revolution, but I mean,
no civil wars.
Yeah, no civil wars. But I will take any legal and reasonable actions to make sure that my point is heard, and to make sure my rights are, not infringed upon. So.
All right. How do you feel about being a Native American in the United States?
How do I feel? Well, growing up in Flagstaff is a border town. It's a border town of the reservation, Navajo reservation. So, I guess just growing up in Flagstaff in general was, it was a bit tough. It was a bit scrutiny growing up in elementary school. Wasn't white, so there was of course there was scrutiny. But I always felt like I wasn't so a part of anything,
So you kind of felt like racially discriminated, or?
Somewhat, but it's just kids, and eventually just grew into that. And it's hard, especially when there's a lot of other natives who aren't on the same level, I guess, of like expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see a lot of natives every now and then in the paper, assault or getting drunk, DUI, and it's all over the news, and they really racially categorize them. Usually they'll just say 18 or like their age, and then what they did. But then if it's like a native, they'll specifically name them, like
Mm-hmm.
Hopi 21 DUI, or like Navajo 30 something.
So you feel like it's kind of like if it's a white person, they're not going to name it, he's a white guy, but if it's like an African American, they're going to be like, it was a black male and he was 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
And Flagstaff is an old place, It's really run by a lot of old white people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of old opinion in there. That's why you don't see a lot of government or like business, development a lot in Flagstaff. It's kind of more of a tourist town. But just growing up, it was hard to get a lot of acceptance from people. I had my own goals, going to college. I'm here now, but I was held back by quite a few people. I know that getting older, I was discriminated against by a lot of my teachers. So they always saw me as like another statistic, and the graduation rate was only like 18% my high school for Native Americans.
Okay. So a lot of dropouts?
There's a lot of dropouts. So not just during senior year, but freshman, junior, and sophomore year. So it was I guess I kind of just made it out of there. And this is a border town,
Mm-hmm.
This is where there's integration of white. There's Mexican people, there's African Americans. But you know, it's even worse on the res. You know, you have a lot more influences. It's not so much a priority to go to school on the res. You know, you just stay on the res. You stay there. You work there. I don't want to be discriminatory against my own people, but it's just like a breeding ground, you know, for my own people. But it's not. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying that in order for us to advance as a society, you know, I feel like we would need to branch out, and it's kind of more of a prideful thing.
So did you say like I asked Tyler and he said that he wanted to see more progression out of Native Americans. Would you say you wanted to see the same thing?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Okay. It's just sad to see people who are in the same standing as me just kind of go to waste, you know. I just want to see more Native Americans in college, basically.
So you said you were discriminated. Would you say that you felt like less of a person, and would you also say that you feel as less of a person in the U.S. government at all?
Compared to the U.S. government, I feel like no, I wasn't, just because I was raised in a border town and not so much on the reservation, because the government really takes advantage of the people on Navajo reservation. You know, one thing is resources, natural resources, like uranium, coal, things like that. They're being bought up for, you know, pennies a ton, as compared to where we could get them for like a couple $100s for each ton, you know. And that's how it usually is around the world. But they really take advantage of us, you know. It kind of feels like we're a third world country, you know. You see those big contractors going into different countries, you know, plowing over trees or just mining, and they're just utilizing the resources at their own will. It's kind of like that on the res, you know. And then some of them don't even like leave it, like close it up, you know. Like there's a lot of problems with uranium getting into water tables in the res, and people getting a lot of cancer. And there's not really delicacy or care or respect that's taken into what the national government has done to the people on the reservation. And it's like that in different tribes too. A lot of buzz is going around fracking, you know, in the northern states. There's a lot of land in the reservations up there that are just full of natural gas, and a lot of corporations want to get that out, especially the government, with the helium shortage. So, and it's kind of takes away our rights, and that's why I feel like a lot of tribes, especially us, could legitimize ourselves and get our professionalism up, you know, instead of just sitting around, just being on the res and just working for nothing, basically.
So would you say that Native Americans would hold less of a position in the U.S. government?
Well,
considering that they would leave uranium tunnels open, so would you say that Native Americans wouldn't hold as big of a placeholder? Like, do you think they hold a big enough place to make an impact?
I feel like we could. I feel like a change in morale would have to set things in motion. Because right now, a lot of Native American tribes struggle with kind of an overall motive, especially with especially with younger generations, and just an overall morale boost would be really exceptional. Like for the Navajo tribe, we have Navajo codes of conduct, and it's not so much something whereas like the Bill of Rights or the Declaration of Independence. It's not where we recite it every morning, you know. Especially on the res schools, they don't do anything. It's kind of where we set ourselves up for failure, legitimizing ourselves into a more formal government and more professional government would enhance us to be more like motivated,
Okay.
So just confidence within our own government is something that would really boost morale, I think, in my opinion.
So how would you say that, in a mass scale, how would you say that Native Americans are treated in the United States? Poorly, or are they treated fairly?
It depends on what aspect I'm talking about. I'd have to say it goes back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why U.S. government doesn't take us so seriously sometimes is because they don't see us as a threat, They don't see us, not that we're trying to like uprise, but it's our revolution, but
No civil wars.
fucking Jesus, that would be crazy. But I'm just saying that it goes back and forth. So not that the government fully takes advantage of us, but that we kind of destroy ourselves in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been problems in our own government with previous presidents and tribal council members and council delegates, embezzling money, like millions of dollars of money,
Mm-hmm.
just vanishing like that. And just a couple weeks ago or a month ago, there was already problems with our current president. So he's already like embezzling money for his own usage, And there's a lot of money mismanagement, and a lot of people in the tribal governments are just in it for themselves. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not so much we're a victim of the United States government, it's that we keep letting ourselves be a victim. I feel like we could do better, but so far we're only hurting ourselves. And there's a lot of things going around, like there's a movement called what was it called? Idle No More. I guess it was just kind of just the awareness of Native Americans in the United States. It was kind of on YouTube, so a lot of different tribes in different areas of the country would, go to like public places like the mall or like a shopping center or somewhere like that, and they do like a flash mob, and they do a round dance,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's symbolic, but in a sense, it's not doing anything.
Okay.
It's raising awareness of us, but there's like no clear message.
Not quite getting the whole point across.
Yeah, so there's no intent of any future development in that with our own like success.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of we're just kind of prancing around like, oh, we're native, like everybody. So
It's kind of like we're here.
yeah,
There's no real point, but
yeah.
just saying,
I
we're
mean,
here still. We haven't
yeah.
left.
I respect the purpose, but it's like
There needs to be more done.
there needs to
about
be
it.
more legitimacy and more things done with it.
So more thought through process. Then.
Yeah. So, and what's another thing? A thing we've been running on a lot. We've been writing on for over 300-400 years is tribal sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the government recognizes us as a government, as our own separate, not so much separate, but our own kind of division of the government.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've just been kind of writing that, I feel like, in my opinion, So, tribal sovereignty is where they recognize you as a unified system, and they give you like they give you funds, they give you special priorities to things. They respect treaties that are set like 100 years ago, and like water rights, land rights, and there's a lot of things that go into sovereignty, but I feel like it's something that we've kind of mismanaged. On a Navajo reservation, it typically takes you 5 years to start a business. They go through such a long process,
Yeah.
just to wing out, just to clear the crowd, just to see who will stay that long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of pointless because they say that starting your own business is what they're trying to get people to do on the res, but it's so hard to do it. It's like 5-10 years to get like a geological survey, and it's like, what the hell? So, especially to live on the res, you know.
And that's through the reservation government, not the U.S. government, correct?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the reservation government.
So maybe a little organization, maybe? Is that what you're getting at as far as getting businesses going?
Yeah, there needs to be a lot more development in those areas, business starting, and which would like boom our economy, you know, since we're losing so much through investment and, you know, losing millions on resources. So it's it'll be a long road, you know, especially for Native Americans. Right now, our governmental systems are just really out of date. And yeah, like businesses need to jumpstart to get our economy boosted. So another thing with tribal sovereignty is that we get money appropriations. So the Navajo tribe recently got a casino in Twin Arrows. So that's our first ever casino. And being that we have 300,000, close to 400,000 members now, the money appropriations are spread kind of low, I guess. So we're not one of those tribes where each member gets like a stipend for like $26,000 a month, you know.
It's more of like, here's $5.
Yeah, it's kind of like here's like $100, you know.
Okay.
For, you know, it's not that bad. It's not like a couple bucks, but it's like $100, I guess, you know. And it's only every now and then. It's not every like month. It's like maybe every like couple of years. And it's something where a lot of smaller tribes kind of ride tribal sovereignty a lot too, because you know, they complain about their rights, their right to be Native American, you know, their rights being taken away from them in Trail of Tears and different things like that from like 200 years ago.
So would you fight for your rights too, just like they would?
I would be split.
Would you?
I'd respect the fact that my ancestors endured that, but it's not something that I should be moping about right now. What I need to be doing is contributing to society right now, not dwelling on something that happened over 200 years ago. And it's not that I don't care, it's just that it's in the past and it's long gone.
You want to progress from that.
I want to progress from that. I don't want to draw and feed on that. I want my people to be strong. You know, I don't want them dwelling on that, on what's happened.
So kind of, they're given the chance to create their own government, build that to be better than what the U.S. government is trying to provide for you.
Yes.
And become kind of like your own nation, but not entirely.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, next question would be, do you know anything about the snowball effect, the movie or anything?
The movie, no.
Yeah, it was a documentary. It's kind of on how the U.S. government took a percent of the sacred land, the San Francisco Peaks, and their excuse was they took 0.01% of the land. Do you think that's right of them to take that much, or any at all, of sacred land? You know what I mean? Like, do you think it was right for them to take some sort of it?
Oh, I feel like there could have been an agreement made, I guess. You know, I do agree it's sacred land. I hold it up to be some, like, very, very sacred, being that the sacred mountains are where Native Americans first came out, you know. That's our origin. Or Navajo's not Native Americans, but that's our traditional stories. And there's so many stories on our origins, our creation. So the reason why we hold it so highly is because it's where we were just made, you know. It's something that I can't really go into depth right now, just due to the complexity and all these things I have to explain to you. And just it's hard for a lot of people to understand, especially for like people in your class or whatever, you know. And they take it the other way. They take it as a religion. You know, it's not a religion. It was considered a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Over 500 years ago, it was a way we survived on this land. You know, and it was taken into practice, and people think it's a religion, but it's more of a traditional lifestyle. And yes, we have things we pray to, but that's only for our incandescent belief in a higher sense of our surroundings.
So would you say it's kind of like Greek mythology, how it was more of a traditional lifestyle, living up to the Olympians, not going into church and praying to Jesus or going to the temple and praying to their God?
Yeah, it's not that we hold them up to be gods. It's just that it's our place in the universe to be human beings, and it's their place to look after us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, be there, and that we kind of sound like a hippie, but that we be one with nature. You know, it's this is world's our mother. You know, and it's something that a lot of Native people hold highly, I guess. A lot of elderly people, I can tell you. But yeah.
And in the documentary, it stated that, like the sacred land, the San Francisco Peaks, and that most Native Americans disagree with the use of reclaimed water to make the snow. Would you also agree that that's completely irresponsible of the U.S. government, thinking that they had a right to change the water?
Well, there's a lot of politics that go into that, and I can see that it creates revenue for the city, and the way that a lot of Native Navajos on the res saw it was that it was kind of a ruse for white people to make money off of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they just kind of couldn't let it go, you know, and I feel like it kind of was wrong, you know, since that there's a race of people who hold it so highly, you know, being that it's a sacred place for us. And the thing with natives is the only people allowed to go on the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco Peaks are holy people to pick herbs and stuff. So that's why we hold it so highly, that people don't have shit water on the mountain, you know.
This reclaimed water that
Yeah.
they say is cleaner.
Yeah. So, and it's a little gross if you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And the snow comes out more often yellow than just clear.
Yeah, it's a little disgusting.
Yeah, it's really disturbing. You know, I have friends that go snowboarding, you know. Sometimes they'll tell me it's yellow. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, they're like, it's cool though. And I was like, the hell? Yeah.
It's not cool.
Yeah,
So going back to how you said that you were discriminated against in class from teachers and students again, would you say that any of that is due to kind of the U.S. government backlash of making Native Americans out to be kind of a pushover? Because, I mean, the U.S. government has practically invaded sacred land, which, I'm sure if you guys, or Native Americans, were to take over 0.01% of a church, people would be outraged and the government would listen to them, right?
yeah.
So would you say that that the government in the U.S. would view Native Americans as more of like a pushover, they listen but they really don't hear the...
Like they could just pushes around.
Yeah, and do you think that leads back to how you were treated in school?
I guess there's kind of a connection, but like I said, locally, it's kind of set up for me to where people expect that out of me, you know, within the school that I was attending, the schools I were attending, you know, there wasn't such a high prestige for Native Americans to even graduate. A lot of them drop out. There's a lot of them drop out. Some don't make it past 18. Some end up having children, and it's. I feel like it's. There's a connection somewhat, but it's very distant. But just I feel like there's much more to both sides of the argument. So I understand that the U.S. government has taken so much from our people, and the extinction of over 300 million people across the United States, Native American people throughout 400, 500 years. It's time for change, you know, it's time to move on. And I say that respectfully, and I say that with optimism for a better future for our people. So to answer your question, I guess it's indecisive, you know. I'm indecisive about it.
It's kind of a split line.
Yeah.
It could be, but it's not completely.
There's a fine line, so.
All right.